Hi, I'm Xander Uleman. I'm here with Chris from Verizon, and we're here at CiscoLive in San Francisco. And I wanted to just get a view from you on what's happening and what the experience is, because you've been here a couple of years in a row now.
Yeah, I'll tell you, and I've talked to a few folks at the show, and there definitely seems to be a different energy this year. I think in the years past you kind of had, nothing's wrong with this, but CiscoLive was a place to come where you got your product updates. What I'm seeing this year is it's very transformational. I mean, even the concept of Cisco powered is transformational. As far as when you think of it being Cisco powered, this transformation has created a lot of buzz, a lot of positive energy. You see people looking at the show differently, the information they're looking for, the partnerships they're looking for. It's just different in a good way.
So let's focus a little bit about your offerings, and in particular, if you wouldn't mind talking a little bit about the cloud services.
In the cloud space, it's your infrastructure as a service, it's your private cloud, public cloud, and now what we're seeing is okay, how do you take some of those foundational services and layer applications and more value on top of it? We've been in market with the Cisco HCS product, our hosted unified communications product now for several years, which has been very successful. As we see that market shifting from premise-based phone systems to cloud-based phone systems, that's been very successful. We've taken the underlying infrastructure of our IaaS platform, the Cisco-powered IaaS platform, and started to layer applications to provide software as a service on top of that with some key partners of both Cisco and Verizon's.
So when you talk about these services, right, there's lots of companies that talk about cloud, but not all these clouds are created equally, right? So you touched on the foundational piece, and tell us a little bit about, I guess, best effort, right? That some providers are calling satisfactory, right? And enterprise grade capabilities where you guys have invested in.
I think a few things. Obviously, being a carrier, there's an expectation from our customers, and I think Cisco gets a lot of the same thing, that you are 5 nines reliable, or however you want to calculate it. When we look at it and we're saying, okay, we are providing an enterprise class service, it's going to be over an application aware network. It's going to be secure. It's going to offer SLAs. And those are the things that, in my mind, are going to differentiate it from, say, a commodity service. We're offering, when we look at enterprise services, it's usually wrapped with additional professional services, more hand-holding from an onboarding management perspective.
So when you talk about some of your customers, can you give us maybe a few examples of how they're using this carrier-grade service? Because obviously when your phone system goes down, your entire business is put on hold, right? So tell us a little bit of maybe some examples that you've seen.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think so when we looked at the value of the cloud-based service, and when you're out there, you're talking to customers and say, hey, why put your communications infrastructure into the cloud? A few things that I think customers learn very quickly. One is the speed in which they can execute. In a reliable, responsible manner. When customers are looking to stand up new locations, in the old days, it would be a month or 2 months just of planning of getting the phone system in and doing all that. Now we're doing it in weeks. But doing it in a responsible way, because the infrastructure is there. So you're really just focused on the end user experience, and building that out.
So last question. When we think about Cisco's message here, has been loud and clear around the Internet of Everything. Give me your perspective and how Verizon is basically gluing a lot of these pieces together to unlock that value of the Internet of Everything.
Yeah, it's interesting. So obviously we operate a fairly large mobile network. So the Internet of Everything has deep meaning to us as everything becomes connected. Whether it's business to business, people to people, people to machines, machines to machines. From a Verizon perspective, that means wireline, it means wireless, macro, it means Wi-Fi, all riding on a network, and in many instances, our network, whether it's the internet backbone or whether it's the Verizon wireless macro network. So the Internet of Everything presents a lot of unique opportunities for us. It's what we can do with that information. When you have all of these things exchanging data, and like I said, machine to machine and things like that, and how you can improve the way enterprises interact with each other, how consumers interact with enterprises, by leveraging all that connectivity, all that information, hopefully that answered your question.
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. So thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And
Sounds good.
We'll talk again next
All
year.
right, sounds good.
All right.
Thanks.